She broke me to build herself. I used to think love was something you built together, like a house, brick by brick, memory by memory. But what I didn't realize was that the same person helping you build it could also be the one setting fire to the foundation the moment you turned your back. Her name was Eliza, and she didn't just leave me. She dismantled me, piece by fragile piece. I remember the first time I saw her, September 6th, junior year of college. She walked into the lecture hall 15 minutes late, wearing this oversized flannel and ripped jeans like she hadn't even tried. But that's what made everyone stare. She didn't need to try. There was something magnetic about her. The way she moved, unbothered, like the world bent around her gravity. She sat 2 rows in front of me, and when she turned around to ask for a pen, her eyes locked onto mine like she already knew something I didn't. That was Eliza, always 10 steps ahead, and I was just grateful to be seen by her. We started slow. A shared group project, late-night study sessions, her borrowing my jacket when it rained. I fell for her the way people fall asleep, gradually, then all at once. I didn't even realize how far in I was until one night, during finals week, she leaned in while we were working and whispered, "You're the only one here who doesn't bore me to death." It was nothing, but it was everything. That was how Eliza worked. She never gave too much, just enough to make you chase more. Like she knew the exact dose to keep you addicted. By the start of winter break, we were inseparable, but we weren't together. She made that clear. "I'm not into labels," she told me once while lying in my bed, head on my chest. "Let's just enjoy this." I told myself I was okay with it, that labels didn't matter. What mattered was that she came to me, that I was the one she called when she was drunk at 2 a.m., or when her roommate pissed her off, or when she just wanted to talk about nothing for hours. What mattered was that she chose me, or at least, that's what I thought. But things started to shift spring semester. She got close with this guy in her lit class. His name was Darren, the type of guy who always had a smirk like he knew a secret you didn't. He wore leather jackets in 80-degree heat and quoted Bukowski like it was a personality. I hated him instantly, but I didn't say anything, because I trusted her, because I had to, because I was already too deep to consider the alternative. The first red flag slapped me in the face one night at a party. We arrived together. She was holding my hand. She kissed me before we walked in, but an hour later, she was nowhere to be found. I found her out back, sitting on a low brick wall, laughing at something Darren said. Her hand was on his knee. When she saw me, she didn't even flinch, just waved me over like I was late to something I should have known about. "Hey, babe," she said casually. "You remember Darren?" He stuck out his hand like he owned the world, like he knew exactly what he was doing. I shook it, but I wanted to break every bone in it. That night, we fought for the first time. "Why the hell were you all over him like that?" "Oh my God, are you serious?" she said, rolling her eyes. "It's not a big deal. You were touching his leg. So? It's called being friendly. You should try it sometime." I should have walked then. I should have realized that she didn't care about how it made me feel, that she never really had. But instead, I apologized. For making a scene, for being insecure, for feeling what I felt, because she knew how to twist it, how to make it seem like my pain was the problem, not her actions. It got worse after that. She stopped texting back as quickly. She started forgetting plans we made. I'd wait outside the library for 30 minutes before she'd show up, if she showed up at all. And when I asked about it, "I've just been really busy. You're not my boyfriend, remember? You don't own my time." That one stung more than it should have. But she was right. She wasn't mine, no matter how badly I wanted her to be. One night, she disappeared completely. No texts, no calls. Her phone was off for 2 whole days. When she finally responded, it was one line. "Hey, sorry. Needed some space." That was it. No explanation. Just a cold shoulder and silence. And still, I waited. Because I loved her. Because I thought love meant being patient, being forgiving. Because I didn't realize that some people only want you around when it's convenient. When she came back, she acted like nothing had happened. Like 2 days of silence didn't exist. We went for coffee. She smiled at me like she used to. Told me about a poem she was writing. About how she wanted to get published. She even held my hand across the table. I remember thinking, maybe this is it. Maybe she's finally choosing me. I should have known it was just the calm before the storm. A few weeks later, I was walking through campus when I saw her on the quad. With Darren. They were sitting close. Too close. Her head was on his shoulder. He kissed her forehead. And she didn't pull away. Didn't even look surprised. She just smiled. I couldn't breathe. I stood there frozen while my heart shattered in real time. She didn't see me. Or maybe she did and didn't care. I went home and stared at the ceiling for hours. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just kept thinking, there has to be an explanation. There has to be something I don't know. So I texted her. Can we talk? She replied instantly. Sure. Come by later. Like nothing had happened. Like I hadn't just seen her kiss another guy. Like I wasn't breaking. I walked to her apartment like a man headed to his own execution. My palms were sweating. My chest felt like someone had dropped a cinder block on it. But I needed answers. I needed her to say something, anything, that would make what I saw make sense. When she opened the door, she smiled like she always did. Like everything was fine. Like I hadn't watched her rest her head on another man's shoulder and let him kiss her. Hey, she said casually. She was barefoot, wearing one of my old sweatshirts. The one she borrowed months ago and never gave back. Hi, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. We need to talk. She sighed, like she already knew what I was about to say and didn't want to deal with it. Can we not do this right now? I had a long day. I saw you, I said, cutting her off. With him. On the quad. Her face didn't even twitch. Oh, she said, after a pause. You saw that. That's all you have to say? She crossed her arms and leaned against the doorframe. What do you want me to say, Eli? You said we weren't exclusive. No, I said, my voice cracking. You said that. I went along with it because I thought eventually we'd get there. She tilted her head, like I was a puzzle she didn't have the patience to solve. That was your choice, not mine. My mouth went dry. So you and Darren. We've been talking. For a while. My knees almost buckled. While? How long is a while? She didn't blink. Since around February. That was 2 months ago. 2 months of her coming to my place. Of holding my hand. Sleeping in my bed. 2 months of lies. I sat down on the edge of her couch because I couldn't trust my legs anymore. Why didn't you tell me? She walked into the kitchen and poured herself a glass of water like this was just another Tuesday. I didn't think I needed to. We were never official. You said you were okay with it. I wasn't okay with it, I said. I just didn't want to lose you. She leaned against the counter and looked at me like I was a child who didn't understand the rules of the game. But you never really had me, Eli. And that? That broke me more than anything else she could have said. Because it was true. I'd been loving someone who only saw me as a placeholder. A convenience. A comfort. You used me, I whispered. All this time. No, she said, walking back toward me. I never used you. I needed you. There's a difference. Needed me for what? She paused, then looked me dead in the eyes. To feel safe. To feel important. You were steady. And I needed that while I figured some things out. I let out a bitter laugh. So I was your emotional crutch? She didn't deny it. She didn't even look sorry. I can't believe this, I said, standing up. I gave you everything. I made you my whole world. Her eyes flickered, just for a second. And maybe that was your mistake. That hit me like a slap. Not because it was cruel, though it was, but because deep down, a part of me believed she was right. I had made her my world, and she had made me her stepping stone. I didn't say goodbye. I just left. And as I walked back to my place in the freezing spring night, the wind cutting into my skin, I realized something I should have seen from the very beginning. Eliza didn't break me by accident. She did it to build herself. She took all the love I gave her, all the time and care and energy, and used it to find the strength to walk away, to find someone better. And I was left with nothing but pieces of myself I didn't know how to put back together. The worst part? Even after everything, after the lies, the betrayal, the manipulation, I still wanted her to text me, to say she made a mistake, to say she missed me. But she never did. Not once. And that silence? That was the real goodbye. The days that followed felt like limbo. I would wake up to silence. No good morning texts, no Eliza stealing the covers or rolling over to press her forehead into my chest. Just silence. An absence that pressed against my ribs like a vice. I told myself I was better off, that I deserved someone who wanted me back. Someone who didn't use my love like fuel for her personal growth, only to abandon me the second she felt ready. But those were just words. Empty ones. The kind you repeat like a mantra in the hope they'll become true if you say them enough. I didn't delete her number. I couldn't. I didn't unfollow her either. Some days I hated myself for checking her stories. Other days I hated her for posting them. Because it didn't take long for Darren to start appearing in them. Subtle at first, just a glimpse of his hoodie sleeve in the corner of a mirror selfie, or the outline of his laugh behind the camera. But I recognized him. He had a crooked smile and tattoos on his forearms. He walked like he didn't care about much. Eliza had once told me she'd never date a guy like that. Guess something changed. 2 weeks after that night, I saw her again. It was at a party. I wasn't planning on going. I wasn't even invited, really. But Noah, my roommate, dragged me along, said I needed to stop rotting in my own sadness and be around actual humans. The second I walked in, I saw her. She was standing by the counter, laughing, a red Solo cup in her hand. And Darren was there too. He had his arm slung around her waist like she belonged to him. And the worst part? She did. She didn't see me right away. I stood frozen near the hallway arch for maybe a full minute, my drink untouched in my hand. I couldn't move. I couldn't even breathe. Then she looked over and locked eyes with me. Her smile faltered. Not vanished, just dimmed. Like she didn't know what expression was appropriate. She whispered something to Darren, then walked over. Elijah, she said. She never used my full name. Not unless she was trying to be distant. Eliza, I replied. She took a slow breath. Didn't think I'd see you here. I wasn't planning to come, I said. Guess life's full of surprises. Her eyes darted to my cup, then back to my face. You okay? I wanted to laugh in her face. I wanted to say, are you serious? But instead I just nodded. Fine, I lied. You look happy. She hesitated. I am. Of course she was. She got what she wanted. Look, she said, biting her bottom lip the way she always did when she was nervous. I didn't come over to make things worse. I just wanted to say I hope you're doing okay. Really? Sure, I said. Because what you did to me. That was super healing. Her face twisted like I'd slapped her. You said we weren't exclusive. And you said I mattered to you. You did, she said. You do. But I don't. I cut her off. Don't do this here. Go back to your boyfriend. The word tasted like poison. She nodded slowly, looked like she wanted to say more, but then turned and walked back to Darren. And I stood there, watching them. Him kissing the side of her neck. Her smiling like I never existed. I didn't last long at the party after that. I left my drink on some random shelf and walked straight out the door, heart pounding, face flushed. Not from embarrassment. Not from anger. From pain. From that brutal, undeniable ache of watching someone you loved belong to someone else and knowing they chose it. Willingly. I didn't cry that night. Not out of strength, but because I was just empty. Like my body had run out of grief. Like Eliza had already taken everything that was ever soft or vulnerable in me and left nothing but a quiet, broken shell behind. The days blurred again. I tried throwing myself into work. Into working out. Into literally anything that would distract me from the sound of her voice still echoing in my head, from the ghost of her touch on my skin. Sometimes I wondered if I was being dramatic. If maybe this kind of heartbreak was just normal and everyone felt like this after a relationship ended. But it didn't feel normal. It felt like I had been unmade. Like she'd carved out the best parts of me, my loyalty, my hope, my belief in her, and used them to build a version of herself that didn't need me anymore. And I was just supposed to applaud her for that? Then came the message. It was a random Thursday night. I was lying in bed, scrolling through meaningless reels and pretending I wasn't waiting to see her name light up my phone. Eliza, can I call you? My heart stuttered. I stared at the screen for what felt like an hour. Part of me wanted to ignore it, to block her, to finally start protecting myself. But I was weak. I always had been when it came to her. Me, sure. She called a minute later. Hey, she said softly. I hope this isn't crossing a line. You crossed a lot of lines already, I replied. She went quiet. I needed to talk to you. Not for anything specific. Just to talk. I sat up. Does Darren know you're calling me? Pause. No. That should have been my cue to hang up. But I didn't. Instead, I asked, why now? I don't know, she whispered. I've been thinking about you. About us. About everything. You mean about how you broke me? That's not fair. No, I said, my voice cold. What's not fair is pretending you didn't use me as some emotional springboard while you figured your shit out. Elijah, I was there for you. Every step. I held your hand when you cried. I listened when you vented. I gave you everything. And the second you got strong enough to stand on your own, you didn't choose me. You didn't even hesitate. I was confused, she said quietly. And scared. I laughed bitterly. No, you were selfish. And you still are. She didn't argue that. Silence stretched between us. Then she said the words I never expected. I made a mistake. I didn't respond. What was I supposed to say? Oh, cool. Thanks for realizing it a few months and a dozen heartbreaks too late. Elijah, she whispered. I thought I needed someone different. Someone edgier. But all Darren's done is make me feel small. That's not my problem anymore, I said. But I miss you. I closed my eyes. She had no idea what those words did to me. She had no right to say them. Not now. Not after everything. But still, I wanted to believe them. I wanted to believe that maybe I hadn't been so easy to replace. That maybe I mattered more than she let on. I wanted to believe I was worth regretting. Then leave him, I said suddenly. What? Leave Darren? If you really mean it. If you really think you made a mistake, then prove it. She didn't answer. The silence this time was different. Heavier. Guilty. You're still with him, aren't you? I asked. It's complicated. No, it's not, I snapped. You don't miss me. You miss how I made you feel. You miss the safety, the stability, the comfort. You don't love me, Eliza. You love what I gave you. That's not true, she said, but even she didn't sound convinced. I hope he's worth it, I whispered, then hung up. And this time, I blocked her. The healing didn't happen all at once. But that call, that pathetic, empty confession, was the first time I realized something important. She didn't break me to build herself. She broke me because she couldn't build herself. Because she needed someone to hold the mirror while she rearranged her reflection. And once she liked what she saw, she no longer needed the one who held it. I'm still rebuilding. I still catch myself flinching when people say her name. I still have nights where I wake up expecting her beside me. I still wonder what I could have done differently. But I'm no longer waiting for her. And I'm not broken anymore. Just scarred. And scars are just proof you healed.